Good morning, old sport. You're having lunch with me today, and I thought we'd ride up together. Isn't it pretty? Haven't you ever seen it before, old sport? Look here, old sport. What do you think of me anyhow?
Well, I guess you're,
Well, I'm going to tell you something important about my life. I don't want you to get the wrong idea with all these stories you hear about me. I'll tell you God's truth. I'm the son of some wealthy people in the Middle West, all dead now. I was brought up in America, but educated at Oxford. Because of all my ancestors have been educated there for many years. It is my family tradition.
San Francisco!
I see. Then came the war, old sport. It was a great relief, and I tried very hard to die. But I seemed to bear an enchanted life. I accepted a commission as first lieutenant when it began, in the Argonne Forest. I took 2 machine gun detachments so far forward that there was a half-mile gap on either side of us, where the infantry could not advance. We stayed there for 2 days and 2 nights. 130 men with 16 Lewis guns. Where the infantry came up last, they found the insignia of 3 German divisions among the pile of dead. I was promoted to be major, and every Allied government gave me a decoration. Even Montenegro. Little Montenegro down on the Adriatic Sea. This was the one for Montenegro. Major J. Gatsby, for valor extraordinary. Here's another thing I carry, from my Oxford days. I was on the baseball team. I'm going to make a big request of you today. So I thought you ought to know something about me. I didn't want you to think I was just some nobody. You see, I usually find myself among strangers because I drift here and there, trying to forget the sad things that have happened to me. You'll hear about it this afternoon.
At lunch?
No, this afternoon. I found out that you were having tea with Miss Baker.
You mean you're in love with Miss Baker?
No, old sport, I'm not. Though Miss Baker has consented to speak to you about that matter.
Oh, it's the fuzz.
That's the sound of the police! That's the sound of the police! That's the sound of the police! That's the sound of the police!
License, please. Sorry, Mr. Gatsby. Recognize you next time.
What was that? The picture from Oxford?
I was able to do a favor for the commissioner once, and now he sends me a Christmas card every single week. Mr. Carraway, this is my friend Wolfsheim.
So I took one look at him, and what do you think
What?
So I handed him the money, and I said, all right, Catspaw, don't pay him a penny until he shuts his mouth. And he shut it right then and there.
Eyeballs?
This is a nice restaurant here, but I like across the street better.
Yes, eyeballs. Gets too hot over there.
Hot and small, yes, but full of memories.
What place is that? The old Metropole.
The old Metropole, filled with faces dead and gone. I can't forget so long as I live the night they shot Rosie. It was 6 of us at the table. When it was almost morning, the waiter came up to me with a funny look on his face and said, somebody wants to speak to him outside. Alright, says Rosie, and begins to get up. And I pulled him down in his chair. Let them come in here if they want you, Rosie, but don't you, so help me, move outside this room. It was 4 o'clock in the morning then, and if we'd raised the blinds, we'd have seen daylight.
Did he go?
Sure he went. He turned around in that door and he says, don't let that waiter take away my coffee. Then he went out on the sidewalk and they shot him 3 times in his full belly and drove
4 of
away.
them were election.
5 with Becca. I understand you're looking for a business connection.
Oh no, this is not the man.
No?
This is just a friend. I told you we'd talk about that another time.
I beg your pardon, I had the wrong man.
Look here, old sport. I'm afraid I made you a little angry this morning.
I don't like mysteries, and I don't understand why you won't come out frankly and tell me what you want. Why has it all got to come through Miss Baker?
Oh, it's something underhand. Miss Baker's a great sportswoman, you know, and she wouldn't do anything that isn't alright.
Yes, the telephone. Fine fellow, isn't he? Handsome to look at and a perfect gentleman.
Yes, of course.
He's an Oxford man.
Oh,
He went to Oxford College. You know Oxford College?
I've heard of it.
One of the most famous colleges in the world.
I see. Have you known Gatsby for a long time?
Several years. I made the pleasure of his acquaintance just after the war, but I knew I had discovered a man of fine breeding after I talked with him for about an hour. I said to myself, there's the kind of man you'd like to take home and introduce to your mother and sister. I see you're looking at my cuff buttons. Finest specimens of human molars.
Well, that certainly is an interesting idea.
Yeah, Gatsby's very careful about women. He would never so much as look at a friend's wife.
Come back.
I have enjoyed my lunch, and I'm going to run off from you two young men before I outstay my welcome.
Don't hurry, Meyer.
You're very polite, but I belong to another generation. You sit here and discuss your sports and your young ladies and your... As for me, I am 50 years old and I won't impose myself on you any longer.
He becomes very sentimental sometimes. This is the most sentimental day. He's quite a character around New York, a denizen of Broadway.
Who is he, an animal? An actor?
Mayor Wolfsheim? No, he's a gambler. He's the man who fixed the World Series back in 1919.
Fix the World Series. How did he happen to do that?
He just saw the opportunity.
Why isn't he in jail?
You can't get him, old sport. He's a smart man.
Come along for a minute. I've got to say hello to someone. Where have you been? Daisy's furious that you haven't called up. This is Mr. Gatsby, Mr. Buchanan.
How have you been anyhow? How did you come up this far to eat?
I've been having lunch with Mr. Gatsby. Where's the devil? I hate you.
1, 2, 3. Okay, happy birthday. This is our video analysis of The Great Gatsby.
Welcome.
It's early in the morning. It's about 4 a.m. where we are right now. And we're filming this to bring to you. So, Lentz wants to know what is missing from our film, you know? So, okay. From the top. Go down the list. Okay, go.
Okay, so the first thing we missed was we cut out the first scene and the last scene. And this was so that we could better focus on the parts that we did in order to make those scenes better instead of having a longer video with lesser quality for each of the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
What were the scenes that we cut out? We cut out the scene that talked about like the guests that visited Gatsby.
Yeah.
And where Jordan tells Nick about Gatsby and Daisy.
Okay. So, the photograph that Gatsby shows Nick, we changed that because we couldn't get a group photo because they're hard to find. So we had to cut a baseball card and use that. And yeah, okay.
That definitely looks like me too.
Yeah, it looks like Gatsby too.
At one point in the video, we have some Christopher Nolan-esque switches of character, you know, and the purpose behind that was, I guess, just, you know, I don't know, why not?
And for comedic effect, but if you didn't laugh in class, then you're worthless.
You have no soul. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, what else is there? Oh yeah, the no limo or what is that? Hearse. Alright. So we didn't have access to a limo. We didn't have that large of a budget.
Carries dead people.
Yeah. Oh, well, we don't have any dead person to carry, so.
We don't have a hearse.
Yeah, or dead people.
Well,
Okay.
I can find
That was too much resources, so we worked with what we had.
Yes. Okay, at one point in the video, Tito takes a shot of pretzels, and he was on edge during filming, and we figured this would be a good way to get him back in the groove.
A literal shot of pretzels.
A literal shot of pretzels.
Okay. So, we shot the Myers scene in a bar instead of a restaurant because we all like a little, you know? No, really, I'm under 21. It's because a bar is way more intimidating than a restaurant. Like some sketchy guys hang out in a bar. Like, so yeah, it's cooler.
And also, we didn't have a restaurant at hand.
And also, yes, we didn't have a restaurant. I took them to an abandoned restaurant, possibly, but they were scared to go in.
That was so sketchy.
Because of trespassing.
There was no roof! It was a wall and half a roof.
And there were no trespassing signs, but I conveniently folded them so you couldn't read them.
In the middle of the building.
They would have been suitable. Okay.
Suitable.
Here, talk about The use of the swag.
Ah, yes. What do you mean the use of the swaggin?
Okay, well, as you can see, Gatsby's car isn't a normal car. It's a swaggin' wagon. Okay, it's a station wagon of the gods. We could. Oh, and it's not even yellow, but we used it because we can, because it's a free country, and I have a Bill of Rights and Constitution and Declaration of Independence.
You haven't.
And because we don't have fancy yellow cars from the 1920s. That's about it. Yeah. So if you don't understand that, yeah.
Also, the retractable antenna made it like.
Oh yeah, most of the changes came down to a lack of resources, which I'm sure.
Because we're poor,
Yeah, we're
high school people.
Starving artists.
And for only 75 cents a day, you can help me.